Hi everyone, this is Merritt Davis, Chapter 8 on muscular flexibility. And the first question is identify one new piece of information that you learned from this textbook. And some of the information that I kind of had that was new to me was learning the difference between the ballistic stretching and dynamic stretching. And in the book, it defines like ballistic stretching as requiring requires the impetus of a moving body or body part to force a joint or group of joints beyond the normal range of motion, and it requires a fast and repetitive bouncing motion. So, for example, it would be like leaning over and touching your toes, like bouncing down and touching them, and that would be a ballistic stretch. And then the dynamic stretching is stretching exercise that require the book's definition is speed of movement, momentum, and an active muscular effort to help increase the range of motion uh, about a joint or a group of joints, above a group of joints, excuse me. And then an example of actual dynamic stretching is like doing walking lunges or say doing like arm circles. So, and then it also, oopsies, the other thing is static stretching. So we have dynamic stretching, ballistic stretching, and then the static stretching is more just like a regular stretch of holding the stretch. And so, I mean, obviously I do these stretches, but I guess I kind of forgot or didn't know really what there was a specific name. So anyway, so my article that I found is called Effects of Static and Ballistic Stretching on the Muscle, Tendon, Tissue Properties. Sorry. And so it says locate 3 additional information pieces on this topic using a good reputable outside source. So the first bit of information was on the sports field, the 2 most common used stretch techniques are actually the static and the ballistic stretching, which I found interesting that those 2 are the 2 most popular ones. And then another interesting fact is ballistic stretching, it is disadvantageous for improving range of motion and can be harmful because the muscle may contract if restricted quickly, and also creating injury to muscle fibers. So when you're doing that kind of rocking back and forth, touching your toes, I mean, if you're not properly warmed up, you could hurt yourself. And then the last one on my article findings provided evidence that static and ballistic stretching have different effects on passive resistance, torque, and tendon stiffness. And both types of stretching should be considered for training and rehab programs. So that's pretty interesting. And then the third question is explaining how you would incorporate this knowledge in your personal and professional manner. And yeah, this is all great information. I teach elementary school, so it'd be definitely something I can, for me, my 4th and 5th graders, well, for everyone really, 1st through 5th grade, I can just write it on the board and, write static stretch, ballistic stretch, dynamic stretch, and show them, kind of read the definition, which will be a little complicated for them, but, and then show them, the different stretches. Right now, every day we do all those stretches. We do different stretches all the time. And, so I think it's interesting to them to know that actually the stretches have different names, even though they have obviously touching your toes, arm circles, those are different names. They also are specific stretches. And I also can use it for myself and as a teacher and coach. Well, I mean, there's a lot of different things right now when it comes to stretching. People say, you know, it's bad to stretch before you work out. You should stretch after you work out. And truthfully, I hate to say that I'm not a big stretcher, but it's definitely not my plus. I'm not flexible. I'm always been stronger than more, you know, like flexibility has always been tough for me. But I mean, I coach a run club, and we have an hour after school, and there's 80 kids in there. And by the time we take attendance, we just run. We never do any stretching. We just don't have time. And I mean, I guess you can make time for anything. I guess I just really don't make it a priority. But we would run out of time. So anyway, but I think it'd be interesting for my kids to know the different names of the stretches, and so that's how I do it. Thanks for listening.